you guys see that? Sydney Sweeney was completely not needed there. That's hilarious. I wonder how much NASCAR paid her to be there. Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. It was cool to see Alicia out there. I feel like a lot of people were hard on her because she wasn't Samantha Irvin, but she has a strong voice. She does a good job at being the ring announcer. She did a good job with that. Not bad. Waiting on things to get underway. You know, it's the championship race of the, Premier Series, the Cup Series. Obviously, the pre-race is going to be a bit more drawn out, so we might be waiting a little bit. Christian said he can't wait till Daytona already. You don't want it to end, but in the offseason, you watch the Snowball Derby, Gateway Nationals, Tulsa Shootout, Chili Bowl, then Rolex 24, and the 500 all over again. What time does it start, Jolene? It should be starting in the next, I would say, 10 to 15 minutes. Maybe closer to 15. Have I been keeping up with the NFL scores? Not much. I've been locked in on NASCAR pre-race. They did a pre-race show on YouTube that really wasn't great. And then they had the countdown to green, obviously. That's right. That's right. We're here for the racing. As a reminder, we will be live. I already have it somewhat set up. I don't want to call my shot. I just have it as a placeholder. But that's a little preview of our Phoenix post race. We're going to try to do somewhat of a season recap. But I think I'm going to do a full season recap maybe next week, maybe next Sunday. And we'll actually go back and watch clips from each race. I called my shot. Yeah, you saw Mamba and closed it. Yeah, that's part of what was annoying me. He's been such a jerk lately to the majority of NASCAR fans he's interacted with. Is anyone else's audio delayed? Is it just me? Do I need to change something? Don't worry, it's me. I know what I'm doing. You're excited for the Chiefs-Bills game? This should be pretty big. It's good to know. So Justin, he sees it. Yeah, Denny Hamlin's lips were like 2 seconds behind what he was saying. It's not only me. Justin said it's delayed too. I'm watching it from antenna, so this should be the most raw version of the broadcast. Yeah, I feel like that may have just been for a second. I didn't notice it before that interview. Yeah, it's going to gaslight me. I'm not going to allow it. Let's go ahead and look at our starting lineup while we're waiting on them to get underway. So starting up front, we have 3 of our final 4. Denny Hamlin in first, William Byron second, Kyle Larson third. Then we have a pretty big gap back to 12th, Chase Briscoe. So Chase has the most ground to make up, but this is one of Chase Briscoe's better tracks. So maybe they just didn't unload with the right qualifying trim. Maybe they're more focused on race trim. Jason Switzer said, "Happy championship race day, everybody. Let's go, William Byron." His fiancee Trisha made him some yummy keto pizza for the race. You hope the Colts come back and beat the Steelers. Yeah. Yeah. It is pretty wild seeing Aaron Rodgers have a decent season. Thank you, Matthew. Thank you. Yeah, there should be a fun race. I also have a backup plan. So just in case we have a race winner that isn't also the championship winner, I have a backup plan. So I'm not calling my shot here. I just have it ready to go just in case we have a different race winner from the championship winner. Christian says he has a proposal to fix the Fox booth. Let's put Alexander, Lee Diffie, and Harvick together. You feel like that could be a good booth? That would probably be an improvement over what they have. Just in case. Oh yeah, I like this camera shot they just did from Rattlesnake Hill. That's probably the best view at the track. Oh, King is dead. Member for 1 month. He says, Willie B gonna take it all. Well, congratulations on your 1 month anniversary. Thank you for being a member of the channel. And thank you, everybody else that's joined us here for our NASCAR championship weekend. I'm sure we'll have a lot more people filter in throughout the race, but you guys are here at the very start. Harper Smith said Kyle Larson all the way. HMS champion for number 5. Get her done. I have my Kyle Larson hat in the closet just in case. If he's leading the race, I'll go switch. So I have a 50% chance of wearing the correct hat today. I don't have a Hamlin hat. I do not have a Briscoe hat. Chevy versus Toyota. Gibbs versus HMS. Steve Letarte picking Hamlin. Jeff Burton picking Byron, I guess. Dale Jarrett picking Denny Hamlin. Definitely has a Hamlin hat, 2 Larson hats, and a Truex hat. Yeah, that's close enough. That's close enough. Matthew S. says script has been in for a bit. Denny wins, then retires. I don't know if he would leave. But, man, it would be pretty poetic to go out on top. It might be better to go out on top than to go winless for like 2 seasons like Truex did. Jason said his fiance is a big Kyle Larson fan as well. Yeah, ton of fans. Every time I'm at the track, I see a ton of people with Larson stuff on. I was at a WWE SmackDown taping in Knoxville, and out of the whole arena, the guy sitting right next to my wife on the other side of her was wearing this exact hat, but Kyle Larson. And I was wearing this hat at the time, so it was like, nice. The universe put us there together. All right. Sounds like we're doing the national anthem and the invocation. So this race might get underway by 2:30 Central, 3:30 Eastern. You went Briscoe, but Heim won Daytona and the Truck Series Championship. Jesse Love won Daytona and the Xfinity Series Championship. So Willie B's going to win it if the trend continues. I've seen that. That would be pretty crazy. Harper says Denny sucks, and Byron does too. Everybody has their guy. And everybody has guys they don't like. High Banks says final pit stop NASCAR. I'll say post the 11 car too fast on pit road. I could totally see that. I could totally see that. Yeah, I have been to an AEW show. I actually went with King is Dead. We went and saw Sting's final Dynamite or whatever. Oh, yeah. Yeah, I don't like Denny Hamlin, but he's really talented. Now, to make it to the Cup Series in general, you're probably fantastic. Boop. Quick on the draw there, quicker than me. Watching Sting come from the rafters was awesome. I agree. I jokingly said he was going to come out of the rafters, and then he did. And it still caught me by surprise. Hamlin's the only one in the Final Four with more than 30 career wins, so Hamlin is the most deserving by far out of the four. Yes-ish. Definitely deserving as in, like, his time might be here. You know, he's gone on a long time. And he's been successful for many, many years now. Going on 2 decades. But if you go with the Winston Cup format, or if you go with the format that we have right now, Denny Hamlin has never won a championship. I think the only format Denny might have won a single championship in would be the Chase. So technically, if you're a believer in full season points, Denny is not very deserving. What do you think about the tournament for John Cena's last match and Edge possibly? I wish it would be somebody like Edge, but you know, I don't know what his contract is with AEW or if AEW would let him come over, but that would be big for both companies if they would finally get over their little petty feud and, you know, start crossing over a little bit. We have a Back to the Future Kyle Busch and Keselowski ad. That's hilarious. Advertising the championship returning to Homestead. That's the first time I've seen that. NASCAR's been on it with their ads lately. First, when you were thinking about going to an AEW Dynamite show on the 3rd. Yeah, I mean, it's they put on good shows, and they go for a long time because they usually film like 2 shows at a time at least. So you get to see a lot of wrestling, and the tickets are affordable compared to WWE. Denny Hamlin fan says he's a nervous wreck right now. Hey, gotta put all your chips on the table. Now is the time. But you're right, you know, anything could go wrong. A speeding penalty, a loose wheel could take them out, a cut tire, a blown rotor, a lap car, anything could take somebody out of this. You were at Collision. It was like 4 hours long. Collision plus Ring of Honor tapings. Yeah, that's a long time. When King and I, when we went, we were pretty much just there to see Sting. And after the first show ended, we stayed for like the first match or 2 of the second show. We were pretty exhausted. We had work the next day, so we left early. But Tony Khan came out. He's like, come on, stay. Like, no, we got to go to sleep. Oh, yeah, I need to take the post race off. Yeah. I was calling my shot there. You're nervous, knowing after practice we could crown a champion in a Bristol-style race where the tires don't last past 40 laps. Hey, good job. Good job on the moderating there. You're rooting for JGR. You don't hate Hendrick. You just like Briscoe and want Denny to win for his dad. That's valid. I wouldn't be upset with any of the championship winners. I do think it would be funny if Denny never won one in his career. Being a Denny disliker, I wouldn't call myself a hater full on, but you know, it would be cool seeing him win one for his dad. Has anyone been to that website? Does it work? All right, looking back through the rest of our field, let's go back to our running order here. Hocevar starting 6th, Blaney 5th. Blaney, I think, could be an upset here. I think Blaney might be able to run up and grab the win, even though he can't get the championship, just to kind of show NASCAR, like, hey, if we made it, we could have been the champions. They're losing, but, I mean, badly. It's not too bad. Got to give up one win before the trade deadline. It's all strategy. You got to believe. Colts are going to the Super Bowl this year. At least Joey can't win the championship. You only want Briscoe to win because none of the Fords made it for a chance, but you're still rooting for Ford to win today. Briscoe sucks too. He'll hit the wall in the first lap of the race. What's wrong with Briscoe? He's a good driver. I like Briscoe as a person. Yeah, he's a family man. He's a man of faith. And he's pretty even-tempered, so I respect that. I don't like that he drives a Toyota. I'm not a Toyota guy. See, AJ Allmendinger starting 38th. Michael McDowell 37th. Horrible day. Was he one of the tire failures? SVG 31st. Bubba back in 23rd. So the 23 and 23rd. Bell in 20th. It's kind of wild. That would be wild, though, for most of the playoff guys to crash and just one last guy limps around for the win. Does anyone know if Xfinity ever showed Almirola celebrating the Owners' Championship last night? Because we watched the race this morning, you didn't see it on the broadcast. I didn't see it, but I wasn't paying full attention. But I did see people post about it on Twitter, which was pretty wild, seeing Almirola celebrate a championship he was only partially responsible for. He just happened to be the guy in the car at the time. Does anyone, no, let's say, you're in a tough spot because you're a Chevrolet fan and you drive a Toyota? I do both, Jason. My daily driver is a Toyota. But I also have a Camaro. Yes, Colts all the way to the Super Bowl. They're going to go back to back, maybe even a three-peat. It's going to be the start of a dynasty. You're a Toyota fan and drive a Toyota. Well, there you go. There you go. Hey, they make good cars. I don't think they're as good as they used to be. I think with the addition of all the hybrid elements and some of the electrification, Toyota's fallen off a bit in their reliability, but still a fine car. Hard to beat a Camry. You know, I'm a big fan of sedans. I like comfortable four-door sedans. But Chevy and Ford, you know, these American companies, they're focused on making all these SUVs, and I hate it. I don't need an SUV to get around. Chevy all the way. I'm okay with that. HMS champion. We know where Harbor stands. I like that. A man of principle. He's calling his shot. He said Larson's doing it today. Oh no, they might actually just cancel the NFL and just say the Colts won the NFL. It's over. We're done. We don't want your money. It's over. We're ending football because the Colts are just too good. Someone in Iowa went to a bar dressed as Hitler. Are you kidding me? I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. All right. The cars will be taking the track soon. We're not even going to get this thing green by 2:30. He was also breaking probation. That is a wild thing to do. Double A said all in. That's a cool little saying there. We all know that Hamlin has a chance. He'll wreck someone just so his dad can watch him win a championship with the shape he's in. I would be okay with that. It's the format NASCAR's designed. They want that to happen. And, you know, he's going through a really tough time right now. So I would totally understand him doing that. I might not like it, especially if it's a guy that I like that he spins for the win, but I would understand it. You think the Colts will have home field and #1 seed? Initially, I think they're going to win their division, but I don't know if they're going to be conference champions. So eventually they would not have the home field advantage. Possibly. And he could become a rocket and lap half the field 20 times. I don't know about that. If it was a full race without stages, maybe. But especially with the stages, it makes it a bit too difficult. Also, with what a lot of people have been talking about with the practice and all the tire failures, the race pace may really fall off, and we may see a ton of tire failures. Got an Instagram this morning, and all you saw was in every comment section was Jesse Love hate comments, and it's like, hate the game, not the player. They didn't choose the format they were given. That's a good point. I was pretty surprised by that. I don't like Jesse Love. Seems like a fine enough guy. Him and Zilich are friends. You know, he didn't pick this format. He just went out and drove his tail off last night. So kind of odd that people are upset at Jesse Love over, you know, a system he didn't choose. It's not like he's a super unlikable guy either. I think he's fine. Jared said he broke out the winter hat today. It's getting that time. Just make sure to let your body adjust to the cold weather. It takes about 2 weeks to adapt to the cold. So once your body kind of acclimates, you can start wearing lighter jackets. You won't have to bundle up so much. So in the winter, some nights I'll leave the windows open. Try to acclimate to the cold weather. All right, the cars are rolling. Denny Hamlin is off. William Byron rolling. Kyle Larson. There we go. We have cars on track. We should be live in the next, I don't know, at least by 2:40. So you guys said, did you see Tommy Joe Martin fought with the crew chief on his own 4-car team because they didn't put tires on? It cost Retzloff a good finish. Retzloff went from 13 to 27. I heard there was a fight on pit road, but I didn't see who it was between. You need to use someone's hotspot. Yeah, you need to find somebody with a good hotspot there for you. Is Illich going to have Suarez's crew chief, or is he getting a new one? That's a good question. That's a good question. I'm sure we'll have, if we don't already have the answer, I'm sure we'll find out here soon. Sometimes teams just wait until after the season to announce, you know, every little change. And hopefully we find out about Chevy's new body. All right, we have the cars lined up. This is also one of Bowman's decent tracks, you know. He pretty much earned that 48 ride at Phoenix. So maybe Bowman can play spoiler. I don't think he would cost one of his teammates the win, but if he was outrunning them, he'd probably go for it. There we go. So I have a summary of the year in review. So during our post-race coverage, we might scroll through this, try to find some pretty crazy moments throughout the season. But I want to do a full year in review later. Maybe this next week we'll do one. All right, the pace car's off. Here we go. No more talking. Green flag at Phoenix. Denny already diving down the dog leg. Byron staying more up on track. Hamlin has cleared for the lead. Byron back into second place. Larson back to fourth, losing third from Cindric. Briscoe is back middle 3 wide. Larson's under attack here, kind of falling back. You're not wrong, Harbor. You're not wrong. Do you think Carson Quaffle will quit after next year with sponsorship situations or just go part-time? Not sure. Not sure. I haven't heard much about their plans for this next year. JRM's kind of got a rebuild. They'll still have Allgaier, but you know, they are losing a generational talent to the Cup Series. All right, the field has mostly single-filed out through the top 10. Chastain's the first guy that's making a 2 wide back through the field. Bowman up the track, trying to get to the outside of Blaney. Logano right behind both of them. Still waiting for the person with the hot spot. You got it, man. Plenty of time left in stage 1. So since the restart, Briscoe has gained 2 positions. Larson's lost 1. Hamlin and Byron have held their positions. Get my notepad out. You have faith in Larson? I mean, there's still plenty of time, especially with 2 stage cautions built in. If it's Larson's day, you know, we'll see him come back through the field. You gonna try to get YouTube TV on your phone? That might work. Carson was originally part-time because he couldn't get sponsorship. Then they announced before Phoenix, Carson will be back full-time next year, possibly in the one moving Zilch to the 88th. See. So Hamlin leading by almost a full second right now. Yeah, that sounds likely, Christian. Hamlin right now has our Xfinity fastest laps. You love the Build Submarines ad? I like their car with the metallic numbers on the door. It's nice. Also, we don't see a lot of green race cars, so having some green involved, that's nice. Briscoe still back in 10th. Not a ton of passing throughout the field right now. Yes, that's a good point. Don't forget to check into your NASCAR fan rewards program if you're a member. Hopefully they add more stuff to the fan rewards program before the redemption period ends. I'm not sure when that date is. Usually they announce it. It's gonna suck when the points reset. All right, Byron's kind of holding about a second back right now. Yeah, I'm getting an error right now too. If you get an error, sometimes you just have to go to the website and check in, or just keep spamming it. It finally let me check in just now. Yeah, sometimes I have to go to the website and check in. Where's McDowell right now? 29th. He started almost dead last. So McDowell's moving through the field. Elliott stuck back in 21st. No movement really throughout our top 10. Bowman has gotten around Blaney. That's a little bit of movement. Watch Bowman. He could play spoiler. Right now, Ty Gibbs and Bubba Wallace running door to door. With Bubba holding the position for now. Josh Berry could play spoiler too. Yeah. I feel like he could have a decent run here. This track kind of suits his driving style. Let's see if they can put together another full race. They've only really put together a single good race this year. It was the one they won. Lauren says he hopes Bubba doesn't cause another crash today. We'll see. Side by side right now. We've been green so far. See if we can stay green. Lap 17. It'll be interesting to see if we have any tire failures. That will be a bit nerve-wracking watching, you know, when you have a track that has been causing a lot of tire failures like we saw in practice. Every lap's kind of like a ticking time bomb. Byron has cut down the gap 2/10. So he's managing the gap right now. That's what they just said in the broadcast. And beat him to it by half a second. Wild prediction, you think McDowell retires after 27. Bowman goes to the 71. Kyle Busch goes to the 48. Then after that, Hendrick, nabs Zillage or an up-and-coming Xfinity. That's possible. That's an idea we were floating the other day. A possible Busch return in 27. Logano P9 currently. He's about a second back from Blaney. The deciding factor on that will obviously be like, does Ally want to sponsor Bowman for more seasons, or would they want to take a chance on Busch? Do they see Busch being a good fit for the Ally brand, or would they perhaps shuffle some sponsors around? That's, you know, why he left Gibbs, is a lack of sponsorship. And, you know, do they want to put an older guy in the 48? Or do they want to opt for youth? So they have some decisions to make. Back to back. How about that? 34-7. That's pretty good. Barry kind of falling back. Bowman and Blaney both able to get by. So Bowman's knocking on the top 5 now. Even though he's about 2 seconds back from Carson Hocevar. So Hamlin's still leading. Almost halfway through this first stage. Rajah to the 48. No. Maybe if he improves a lot. But at his current skill level, what I've seen so far from him, no. You could definitely see him in a Spire car. Something like that. But you know, Hendrick's not just trying to put just anybody in the car. Now, if Rajah comes out and wins 3 or 4 races next year in the Junior Motorsports equipment, makes a run at the title, then maybe we start to talk about the 48. But we haven't seen enough yet. He's in the pipeline, so it's a possibility, but we need to see results. Do we really think Jesse Love would jump back to Toyota to go to Legacy, or wait to be Bush's replacement when he moves on? If he wants to be successful, he should probably go back to Toyota. Probably don't want to stay with RCR. Please, no, Christian, please. We don't need that. That pre-race made me laugh so hard. Seeing Sydney Sweeney there at the track, it's like somebody at NASCAR was like, you know what? Sydney Sweeney. And then everyone in the boardroom just stood up clapping. They're like, genius idea, great. I'm wondering how much she got paid to come out to stand on stage and deliver like one line. Like, this championship, it's hard to win and it's really cool. Hey, everybody. That was it. Ton of fall off right now in the tires. You know, obviously we could have a late race restart that could shake this whole thing up. But, you know, if this race is going to run long like it is now, we're going to have to keep an eye on the long run cars. That gap to the leader is holding pretty steady. So Hamlin and Byron running very similar lap times right now. Hey, if you're right, Christian, if you're right, then I support his habits 100%. That speech got the goons watching, though. Yes. Yes. Yes, it did. Man, I'm so excited. Next year, we're going to be in Homestead. Be much better than what we have going on right now. All right, we're halfway through stage one. Back to commercial. Probably go side by side here. Yep. So keep an eye on things. Blaney has gotten around Bowman for 6th place. This is a time where the cars that had short run speed will start to fall off. And the guys with long run speed will make themselves known. That gap between Hamlin and Byron still about the same. Cindric has closed in a little bit, not too noticeably. Larson also slowly working his way back towards Cindric. They're all somewhat evenly gapped through the top 5. Berry continuing to slide back into 9th. Logano's gotten by Josh Berry. Great run for the Penske guys, though. We have Blaney up here, Logano, and Berry. Briscoe's still in 10th. Probably about to get by Berry here for 9th. Yeah, Phoenix is definitely better than it used to be, but I still don't like it. It's a gorgeous track to visit, though. Just right in the middle of all the hills, all these walking trails, biking trails. It's gorgeous. Christian said they're proving me wrong about the tires. We made it 30 laps so far, no issues. We're going to go green till we get our typical Cody Ware weekly first caution. Yeah, it seems to me like the teams came out and ran some really aggressive setups just for testing purposes and found out it was a bit too aggressive. So maybe they went a little more conservative on tire pressures or whatnot to start this race. And that's why we're seeing the tires last a bit more. Because sometimes you'll see in practice, we'll have a ton of tire failures, and then the teams just adapt. They change, something with the setup, maybe the camber of the tires, or maybe just the driving style, and the tires end up lasting no problem. Justin said, "Here comes Chase." Is that right? 21st still. Byron's closing in. He's shaved off about 4/10 now since the commercial break. Now, could this be an effect of... Oh, Briscoe? My bad. Oh, he got around Barry finally. So slot Briscoe into 9th. He's now moved up 3 positions since the start of the race. That's the best of our playoff guys. I have a feeling the lap traffic and the airflow has disrupted Hamlin's lap times, because he was having decent laps and holding pretty steady out front. And now that lap traffic's involved, his lap times have fallen off. And not only is Byron catching up, Cindric's catching up, Larson's catching up. So they're definitely running slower towards the front. Caution, Hocevar. He's having a decent day so far. We'll see if they can put together a full race. They've struggled with that this year. They have speed at times, but they don't have a lot of finishes to show for it. SVG running 32nd right now. McDowell kind of stalled out around 29th. Bubba in 25th. Chase Elliott still in 21st. Bush in 18th. Already seen some guys starting to get lapped. We're running 29.5s at the front of the pack. Here at the rear, we're running 29.7s, 29.8s. So we're about to see Cody Ware and Ty Dillon go a lap down here. I wouldn't be surprised if they lap up to even 30th before the end of the stage, if they really get on it. Double A was about to ask about SVG. Yeah, I always try to look through the running order every now and then just to check on the comers and goers, helps tell the story of the race. Busher snuck his way inside the top 10. Barry continuing to fall. Bell's working his way up through the field. Keep an eye on Christopher Bell. So Byron has paced himself pretty well through this first stage. Busher and Priest are battling for 17th in points. It's a tough battle. They both just barely missed the playoffs. Just barely. That's good, Hamlin fan. That's good. Hamlin's still leading. That's your guy. They're 30 points apart. Yeah. Not sure if they'll be able to, make anything happen there. 30 is a big gap in today's points. All right, Hamlin pulling back ahead. Lap traffic worked to Denny's advantage there. Jeff Gordon looks frustrated. They've got him right where they want him. But Cindric's closing in. You know, these guys at the front were battling there for a bit. Cindric closed in quite a bit. 7/10 shaved off in just a few laps. Blaney able to get by Carson Hocevar, so move Blaney into our top 5. That was my playoff spoiler for today. I think Blaney has a good shot at it. All right, back under side by side. 12 to go in the stage. Briscoe and Bell dicing it up for 10th. So Bell's knocking on the door right now. So Briscoe might be in jeopardy of losing this top 10 in the first stage. You're saying caution with 43 to go? That's a very bold prediction for a moment so far in the future. If they bring back the yellow paint at Homestead next year so we can get cool looking burnouts. It's an interesting idea. You think Byron gets around in with 5 to go in the stage? He's closing back in here. It seems like, you know, Hamlin doesn't have the greatest long run car, especially in traffic, but Byron doesn't really have overwhelming pace here. And to pass in the next gen car, you really have to be faster by a decent amount, or the guy in front of you has to really be falling off. Cindric has closed in, only a second back now. Cindric having a great day. And Blaney got by Larson. I thought it might happen eventually, but not that fast. Guys, watch Blaney. I called it. I called it. He's moving on. Byron has the lead. Byron gassing it up through the center of the corner. Not clear. Byron on the outside. Hamlin on the inside. Byron is clear with 7 to go. So you are off by 2 laps, but very close, Double A. While they're lapping Riley Herbst and about to lap SVG. So what adjustment can Hamlin make on this next pit cycle to maybe hold a bit more even throughout the long run? You know, these guys have to start making a ton of adjustments. Briscoe has to do something here. Hopefully his pit crew can make up some spots on pit road. And Larson off the pace, getting beat by 2 non-playoff drivers. Oh my goodness. Blaney is a rocket ship right now. Blaney is on a mission. About to pass for 3rd. He's the best car on track right now. Blaney's running times equal and better than our leader. That last lap, he was 2/10 faster. That was my playoff spoiler prediction. If we go back to our live show, just in case, I had it ready. Blaney, race winner. Don't mind the Hamlin thing. That was just a placeholder. Dude, Blaney is just gassing it around this track. This is a case of what if. What if he had won at Martinsville? Christian says he hopes we get a full season points format and Penske wins the championship. Watch everyone cry and bring up the fact a different format would be a different outcome. It's a possibility. Blaney's not going to have enough time to get up there to our leader, but watch out for Blaney in this second stage. He may run away with this thing unless the other guys can adjust. Blaney's just so smooth here. Blaney's probably one of the, well, Blaney and Joey are probably the two most upset guys that it's going back to Homestead. Not that they can't win there, but they definitely have Phoenix figured out. Blaney able to get by Hamlin for second place. So as they run, we have Byron in first, Hamlin third, Larson fifth, and Briscoe back in 10th position, able to hold it. Byron will take stage one. So stage one, very quiet. Hamlin led them off. Byron held second for the longest time. The gap really never grew wider than 1 second. Larson slowly fell back. He fell back to fourth immediately, and then eventually fell back to fifth. Byron, he got by Hamlin with 8 to go, and Blaney was just insanely fast. Worked his way up through the top 10 and able to get to second place. Byron was also saying he was a little tight. I'm sure he was, especially if he's melting that right front off. Someone brought up an iceberg stream that everyone cried about Kansas winning the championship in 04 with 1 win, and that's what gave us the chase playoffs, and here we are. That was 03. I thought it was 03. Yeah. '04, I think, was Stewart, maybe. Yeah, I mean, it's impressive to me. Like, even if, like, without the wins, it's still impressive because it means you ran consistent week after week. So I still think it's valid. You know, some people get bored if a champion, you know, locks it up with 3 races to go, with 2 races to go. But I just think that shows dominance. You know, it's like in football when we had Tom Brady winning the Super Bowl every other year. You know, it was a little frustrating, but at the end of the day, you kind of have to respect the dominance. You know, kind of acknowledge like, hey, this is, you know, a big deal. Bush in 04? I hear sirens outside. All right. Coming on for pit stops. With a winner-take-all top points holder, why are we still having a stage race? The short answer is people like restarts. And it stacks the field back up, so it keeps the people with short attention spans tuned in. Also, the broadcasters like it because they're able to get in more commercials without taking people off. But one of the reasons we started the stage cautions was to get in more commercials, kind of like have a halftime. And that way they could show more green flag coverage. They haven't done that. They show commercials during the stage break, and then they continue to show commercials every 10 laps during green flag coverage. Yeah, it can definitely come down to being very close, and that makes it super special. When you come down to the last race and you have a very tight points battle, that makes it, you know, huge. And there's no eliminations. As long as you're mathematically eligible, you're still in the fight. Right now, I think under full season points, Byron would be leading by 11 points over Larson, and Bell is like maybe 20-something points back. So it would still be incredibly close in full season points. And then in the Winston Cup, I think Bell might have a decent lead over Briscoe, but still relatively close. I mean, sometimes, I mean, the wins, you know, they should matter. And I feel like if they do full season points, maybe they should award extra points to the race winner to make it matter a bit more. But, you know, you can have a year like Jeff Gordon in 96 where he won over 10 races and didn't win the championship. He finished second because he wasn't consistent. He had more DNFs. Double A says he thinks Bell had to finish 29th to win the Winston Cup. He probably will. I wouldn't mind keeping the stages, but removing the brakes. That way it rewards guys running consistently good instead of maybe hanging back and sandbagging and then just trying to get a last second good points day. But they're definitely going to keep the stage breaks. The biggest change we might see is the points. So as they're scored currently, Blaney P1, Byron 2nd, Denny Hamlin 3rd, Larson 4th, and Briscoe up to 6th. That's a pretty huge change if this is accurate. What would be the benefit of taking 2 instead of 4 right there? Track position. Track position. And then gambling and hoping that either the 2 tires are good enough and you can hold enough positions to make, you know, the loss worth it. And also hoping for a caution in probably the next 10 to 30 laps. Who remembers the caution clock in trucks? I do. I do. SRX did that for a while, but they didn't call it a caution clock. They called it the fun flag. Oh, did Blaney take 2 there? I hope not. That would be probably a not great decision. It might be just testing out later in the race to see if it's, you know, a viable strategy later on, because they have a really fast car. So I don't think they're too worried about losing track position. Because if they do lose, you know, even 10 positions here, they can probably gain it back in the next stage or after the next caution. Oh my, are they talking about possible issues with Denny Hamlin mechanically? I think SRX went out on its own. You know, they got bumped around from CBS and ESPN, and I think Camping World might have been pulling support, so the money wasn't really there. And on top of that, one thing that I've heard possibly discussed as derailing SRX was how many cars Paul Tracy tore up. They were just spending so much money replacing car after car every week because Paul Tracy would take out about 10 of them. So they ended up spending a lot more money than they planned. And I don't know if the ratings were that good. Initially, I think they were fine, but in the second season, I don't think they were that great. Especially running these midweek races. NASCAR's tried it, and it's never really gone that well. I really enjoyed it. I went to one of them at Five Flags. So Blaney jumping out to the lead or holding, and Hamlin right there. Caution. Can't see what lap it is. Maybe it's 72. Might have been 73. Yeah, John Hunter, need to check around. We do have a caution. That's interesting. SRX's account did tweet last year, or this year, so it's odd that that account is still active. What could they be planning? So it was lap 73. They seriously not have a good angle of this? The Mobile 1 cars always look good. So we have one decent angle and the camera guy missed it. That's exactly right, AA. Exactly right. So as they run, Blaney out front, Denny Hamlin second, third William Byron, fourth Kyle Larson, Briscoe back to seventh. They're reporting the tires are cording. At least they were in stage 1. So sometimes the track will lay down rubber. So even if we have tire issues in the first stage, we might not have tire issues in the third stage. Is there a speed limit under caution? You just have to keep pace with the pace car. If you fall off the pace, they can drop your positions. So you have to hold your position under caution. That's really the speed limit. It's not really a high limit. It's a lower end limit. So if you like shut your car off to save fuel and someone passes you, NASCAR might decide to be like, well, okay, you got passed. That's it. Yeah, NASCAR is a little iffy on enforcing that rule. So they could decide, you know, differently. NASCAR officiating, it's all over the place. Christian said, we need to find out if John Hunter Nemechek took 2 or 4 or just stayed out. I'm not sure. I'm not sure anyone would have that information right now because no one was really focused on him. Chase Elliott's still back in 21st, really not moving around that much. Busch still in 18th. Not really a ton of movement throughout the field. Let's go ahead and check our Twitter page. See if we might have a replay of that. Yeah, Barry moving in the wrong direction. That's right. If he stayed out, wouldn't he have cycled to the lead? Or at least further forward? He probably at least came down for some fuel, right? Yeah. Eric Jones is the best driver at Legacy. We're also biased because you've met him at our local track and he won 10 grand with us. He's a really nice guy. I like Eric. I think he's plenty talented. It shows every time they go to Darlington. Yeah. My dad, my uncle have been messaging about that all day. Most of my family went to Auburn, so a lot of Auburn fans. I was not one of them. So is Denny talking about maybe an issue with the clutch, or is it a brake issue? Clutch. That is not what you want to hear. What is going on? Is NASCAR sabotaging Denny? So many parts failures lately. All right, Blaney leading them off on the inside. Hamlin on the outside. Denny to the lead. Not even close. Larson around the high side. They're 3 wide for second place. Byron holding it for now, but Larson coming around on the outside. So Hamlin to the lead. Larson and Byron side by side for second. Larson slotting into second place here. And Briscoe continuing to fall back. So Hamlin having a great restart. Larson and Byron, not so much. Carson Hocevar looking to insert himself into this conversation. You had Jones, Johnny Sauter, Jesse Love, and a couple others. Most notably, Jeff Bodine. It's a wonder he's still alive. So Denny's running off with it. Larson kind of has the field stacked up behind him. But Hamlin fired off really well in the last stage. And this is a much longer stage than stage 1. So we'll see if they actually go the distance here. Elliott up to 12th right now. He was running 21st. Keep our eye on him. Briscoe kind of stuck back there. Not really working his way forward that much. Close between Chastain and Bell. They're 3 wide. Chastain on the inside, Bell middle, Cindric on the top side. Johnny Sutter was nice. He asked him about advice. He told you don't. That is probably not what you wanted to hear, but that's very honest. Very honest. Seems like Josh Berry just has a very short run car. Or at least he did in stage 1. All right, Chase kind of falling back here a little bit. Cindric and Bell having a pretty good fight here. You officially have 8 signed Jeff Bodine cards. That's that might be a record. Bubba's still in 23rd. I think he maybe just lost 23rd. He's falling back off the pace What is going on with this 23? Something's wrong. Way off the pace. This could bring out a caution. Maybe a fuel pressure issue. Looks like it's coming back up to speed now. Maybe they got it solved. Right now, pretty huge gap between Denny and Kyle. Almost 3 seconds now. This is the largest gap we've seen all race. Yeah, good job by the drivers and the spotters. Bubba is not happy. So that's a JGR associated Toyota having an issue. It didn't seem to be an engine issue. He said it stumbled, so I mean it could be, but I was thinking more an issue with maybe the fuel pump, but they're saying it's something with the throttle, an electrical issue. So we'll see. If he suddenly blows up, we'll know. Well, Blaney hasn't fallen off too far with the two-tire strategy. Only a few positions, so not a bad call to test that out. But even on just the short run, he lost a ton of ground there. So maybe not the best call late race, unless you need to gain a ton of track position. Maybe. We'll see. 36 laps in, almost 37 now. Into stage 2. Now, we did have reports tires recording in stage 1. Stage 2 is over twice the distance of stage 1. So let's keep an eye on this. They showed off a highlight reel of Hamlin's mechanical failures. That's not really something you want to have. They really need to diagnose it because, you know, their information could help the other Toyota guys that are going for the title. Okay, Briscoe getting around Hocevar. So move Briscoe up into the top 5 for the first time today. Right? I think so. I think he restarted 6th and then fell back. Now he's worked his way back up to 5th. You want so bad for Denny to have the same issue as Bubba? Well, right now, even with the clutch issue he's reporting, he is slinging it around. The biggest gap we've seen today, almost 3.3 seconds. Now, the big question is, are Kyle and William Byron saving? Or is Denny just this confident? Because Denny is pretty smooth here. So, even on a late run, with the gap he has, he might be fine. Yeah, I mean, well, definitely when the pressure's on, especially when you're leading or running competitively, every noise and every bump sounds like a day-ending issue. You know, guys get paranoid. But he's had so many issues this year. I think it's pretty reasonable for him to be worried about it. I love that Ross Chastain camping commercial. That's hilarious. It zooms out his whole cars in the woods. That is great. That's almost as good as the Dale Call commercial. Yeah, electrical issues are hard to diagnose. You know, there's guys that will battle electrical problems all day long. You used to see a lot during rain-delayed races. Bubba just pulled out onto the track. You'd see, like, after the rain, if they didn't cover the car fast enough or if the humidity got into the car, sometimes they would start to have these electrical gremlins. It's definitely a good speculation there, Christian. All right, the gap is somewhat equalized, and he's still pulling forward a little bit. But it's sitting around 3.3, trending towards 3.4 right now. Closing in on halfway in the stage. Bubba's done to the garage. Oh my goodness. Caution. Well, say goodbye to our long run fantasy. That's over. Oh my goodness. Chase Briscoe, right rear down. Is this just a right rear? Oh my goodness, his day's good as done. That thing is shredding. There may not be much body damage, but if that diffuser's dragging, his day's done. At least it didn't damage the body panel too much. But if that underbody's damaged, he's done. These cars drive off of that underbody. Tire failure from 5th. I wouldn't be surprised if the 19 and the 11 are running similar setups. And they reported a little cording on the 11's tires, so Denny might be lucky we didn't run long there. So not a lot of body damage, but we don't know how the underbody looks on this Chase Briscoe car. That is the big question right now. This is insane. Under caution for SVG. Whew. That's going to shake things up a little bit. Briscoe was the lowest guy on the totem pole there. His day's not necessarily over, but if that damaged any of the underbody, you know, it's over. Yeah, Briscoe will definitely have a penalty there. So, you know, he'll be starting from the tail end, maybe even a lap down. So let's keep an eye on that situation. If we get a few cautions here, Briscoe could easily find himself back in the top 10 shortly. But he wasn't really, you know, showing the race winning pace. He had just gotten in the top 5 for the first time in the day. Well, Denny better be hoping they have a different tire setup as far as pressure and camber go, because you got to be nervous when your teammate suffers an issue. Sometimes it becomes a like a stack of dominoes, you know, all just falling over. Man, Steelers beating the Colts by 7 points. Not bad. Not bad. Disappointing. Hey, SVG saved Briscoe. If he had driven off into turn 3 full speed and then the tire would cut down, Briscoe would be in the garage right now. Well, he would be in the infield care center. His car would be headed to the garage. All right, let's see what happens here. Byron's coming for sure. Larson's coming down. Denny, Blaney, Hocevar, Joey, like all of our leaders coming down pit road. Not just Toyota issues, but tire issues in general. You know, you kind of have to be nervous. You know, sometimes the track will start to take rubber. What happened? So SVG spun, brought out the caution, and after the caution had flown, Briscoe went off into turn 3, cut down his right rear, and had to pit. So he's probably gonna have a penalty for pitting on a closed pit road. And he's, you know, gonna be way back in the pack. Currently scored 28th. We'll see how that shakes out. Lee Diffie just said the reason for the caution was Chase Briscoe, but it wasn't. Kind of lied there. So you should be pretty caught up there. You dislike it? I thought it was funny. I like seeing, you know, seasonal commercials. Even though Halloween has ended, you know, it's over. Some people celebrate Halloween for half the year. But it reminds me of, you know, back in the day when we were young, every company seemed to have a Halloween commercial, and sometimes they would run it for a few years so it would become iconic. Think the M&M's commercial where they find Santa, you know. That's one of the ones I remember. Or the Corona, the palm tree lit up in Christmas lights while they whistle, "Oh, Christmas Tree." That one's pretty iconic. And even though they're advertising a product to us, it just made the holidays feel a bit more special to have that Halloween commercial, to have a Christmas commercial, whatever. Why don't we have any Columbus Day commercials? There's so much they could do with that holiday. I've been all through these hills. If I ever go again, I want to take a bike. I'm not sure what that is a reference to. I'm a little worried. I'm a little worried by that date. So Denny not having clutch issues at the moment. I thought so. I thought so. Very suspicious date. All right, Denny Hamlin leading them off on the inside. Kyle Larson on the outside. Hamlin able to get a great restart. Byron taking the short way around. Probably not going to hold a ton of speed off the corner. See if he can slot into third here. So Hamlin back out to the lead. Yeah, you might not be wrong. Might not be. I'm wondering if the track is going to take some rubber. That way we may not see these issues in the third stage. But as of right now, it seems like the tires are still wearing pretty heavy. Chastain running well today. In 6th place currently. Moving back to 7th. Barry taking 6th place. You can run that inside line for a lap or two, but eventually that middle and outside groove run a bit faster. I don't mind races with high tire wear. It really puts it in the driver's hands, and the teams can decide how aggressive they want to be if they want to risk a tire failure. I just don't like when they're random, especially if they happen within 10 to 20 laps. That's not good. Well, Briscoe's done. So this is a 3-car race. We have Denny versus Kyle and Byron. Hate it for the Briscoe fans, but that's how it shakes out sometimes in this single race championship format. Hamlin out to a 1-second advantage right now. So downshifting probably into 4th through 1 and 2. looks like he's shifting in every set of corners. Up to 5th, down to 4th. I'm glad we're going back to Miami next year. There's some drama here. Right now, Hamlin has the fastest car, but he might be battling a mechanical issue here. So we constantly have that in the back of our minds. And it's a battle of strategy. Do you want to run out there in the lead and run fast laps? Or do you want to save your tires for a potential long run? That last run, it worked out perfectly for Denny. He held the lead, had a comfortable lead, and then we had a caution. You know, you can go with conspiracy theories. I just think JGR, as a whole, has had a lot of issues this year. You know, it seems consistent for Denny to have issues. Maybe they're doing something to cause all these problems, but I doubt it. I think they have some other issue to track down. Elliott up to 9th. Running a bit better. Malcolm McDowell 27th. Brad Keselowski running 23rd. Kyle Busch 21st. Briscoe back in 29th. Not great. His last lap was a 28.8 compared to our leader running a 28.3. Right now, Hamlin's running 0.3 faster than second and third place. So it's a fast car. We'll see if it can last over the long run. Blaney is hounding Byron right now. Blaney's car looks really good in the longer run, so I would not be surprised to see Blaney get by Byron here. And then eventually Larson as well. Blaney has such a fast car. Blaney could be the one guy that could upset Hamlin. And especially if he can get up there in the clean air and disrupt Hamlin's clean air. That may bring Larson and Byron back into the picture. Because Hamlin looked like he struggled on the long run, but also it was the same time he met lap traffic. So I don't think Hamlin has the best car in traffic. So let's keep an eye on that. When are we going to meet lap traffic? 20, they're running at 20 seconds behind, 29-second lap. It's like a second off the pace. So we could see cars start to get lapped before lap 140. So keep an eye on that. Yeah, it's I mean, you can carry the conspiracy as far as you want. I understand where people are coming from. That's one of the reasons why I don't like this next gen car is the teams have to buy their parts from approved manufacturers. And when you have a mechanical issue like this, like, how much of it can you blame on the team versus the person who made the part? It was the same issue when we went to the spec tire guns. They started having a lot of issues with them when they went to a spec gun. When back before, previously, the teams purchased their own. They'd have different brands, different setups. And so the success and the failure of the teams was dependent on what the team did. Now you're kind of left up to fate with how good the equipment you purchased was. That is crazy. When I think of Phoenix, I don't think camping. But when you drive around the complex at Phoenix, I mean, yeah, it's just tons of campsites. Great access to some walking and hiking trails. We should definitely go back to 5-lug. I totally agree. Such an iconic sound. The tire changers going around the 5 lugs. And we also had much less loose wheels and tires falling off with the 5-lug. The single lug was supposed to fix that, and it definitely has not. We need to go back to a bigger tire that has an inner liner. One of the most annoying things about this next gen car is if they have a flat tire and spin, and half the time the car gets stuck, they end up going several laps down or having to leave the race. When back in the day, you would just limp your car back around, throw a new tire on, and be good to go. All right, Larson has closed in, and they are running faster lap times right now than Denny. Keep an eye on that gap back. We're starting to see the lap cars creep up and up. Let's just watch this these lap times each lap. Kind of see how consistent they're running. So Denny turned it back on that lap. 28.79. Byron ran a 28.77. And Larson kind of fell off a bit, 1/10 off. Really 300ths off. It's not too bad. Briscoe up 5 positions since restart. That's not enough. Not enough. Let's see that lap time he's running. 29.1. It's over. It's over for Briscoe. And maybe these top 3 can wreck each other out of the race. But for now, without something crazy happening, Briscoe's day is good as done. Oh, yeah. Yeah, the 500 qualifying. It definitely seems, you know, sketchy, especially Danica sitting on the pole, but also it's just some teams prioritize the pole. For years, Hendrick did. And it's not the hardest thing in the world to get a pole at the 500. You just set your car for qualifying trim, and you're going to struggle in the race. You know, Hendrick has done that for years. And then I think this year was one of the first years they said, we're not going for the pole. We're going for race trim. And, you know, they won the race, so I guess it worked out. But for whatever reason, Rick Hendrick just loves getting the 500 pole. It just means the world to him, apparently. I've heard that theory that the 500 qualifying is rigged. It's definitely one of the more compelling NASCAR conspiracies because it seems like every year the guy that's on the pole or on the outside pole is a part of some big storyline. And, you know, that was very apparent when Danica got her pole in the 500. So that's a good one. That's a good one, Christian. But I can see why it would not be true. That'd be crazy if we found that out in the lawsuit. They've been rigging the 500 pole for years. So Blaney able to get by Byron. Byron right now our weakest of the three. Had a strong finish to stage one, and right now he's falling off pretty hard. So Byron not able to chase the track very well. Larson right now will run a slightly faster lap, and then Hamlin will run a slightly faster lap. So really back and forth right now. Blaney able to get by. Move Blaney up into second place. Yeah, the flat underbody turns into a wing once he gets a bit of air. So right now, Larson and Byron both getting striped by Blaney. Blaney now trying to run down our leader. We'll see if he can pull that off. Oh, Kyle Busch cutting down the tire. No, I don't think he's saving. I think the car just fell off. I think maybe he was saving at the start and, you know, didn't push it too hard there. But where the long run speed was supposed to come in, it didn't. He's fell off way too far. So disappointing turn of event. Oh my goodness. AJ Allmendinger in the wall hard. We have another caution. We're not going to get a long run in this race because we keep having tire failures. I want to see some long run action. I want to see who has the best car in the long run, and we're not going to get to see it. These guys are going to keep wrecking. All right, 35 to go in this stage. Probably going to come back down pit road here. I don't see people staying out unless they really want to take a gamble for track position. Could see some guys take two if they, I mean, but we'll see. Yeah, I was taking notes. I looked up, I saw that. I was like, okay. Yeah, Kyle Busch cutting down a tire on lap 145. And then on 149, AJ Allmendinger. Tire failure, getting into the wall, bringing out the caution. It must be a big day for them. I'm actually a bit honored they're finding us. Which is kind of wild because we've had streams that have been much bigger than this. I think maybe it was Daytona. We had over 200 in here for a long time. Over 100 for most of the race. And I don't think I saw a single bot then. All right, on pit road, Hamlin gets off first, Blaney second, third and fourth, Larson and Byron holding station. Bell moving up into fifth. Elliott moving up one position. It looks like he's going to leave around ninth again. Our running order is a bit jumbled right now because of the pit cycle, so we'll wait for that to update. Phoenix is the new Darlington? No kidding. I'm gonna get every bit of caffeine. I'll be right back, ladies and gents. Welcome back. We got back just as the commercial ended. Not too bad. Not too bad. Okay, we'll see if anyone has anything for Hamlin on this short run. Blaney's coming out with good track position. We'll see if he can make the most of it. He definitely has the best long run car right now. So be interesting to see what he can do on the short run. Thank you, Double A. Thank you. Another one. Christian said, hear me out of front row and NASCAR settle over the offseason and FRM gets the good end, then either Todd or Zane are going to win a race next year. Possibly Dega or Circuit of the Americas. Possible. It doesn't sound like they want to settle though. NASCAR does. But it seems like the teams are pushing for the suit to actually go on and go to court. So we'll see. I wouldn't doubt they settle eventually. But right now it seems like they're trying to hold NASCAR over a barrel. All right. Larson falling back to 4th. Blaney holding 2nd. Byron's looking inside. Not able to make up any ground there. So Byron holding 2nd. Hamlin's still out in the lead. Briscoe up to 13th. So decent recovery just on track position. We'll see if he can somewhat hold that. Maybe if they can fix what's wrong with his car. So Briscoe not completely out of it. Good to see him back up there, at least for the time being. What's the lawsuit for? The charter agreement. Every team but 2311 and Front Row signed the charter agreement. They didn't, and so they were not eligible to compete in this NASCAR season. And so they went to court over it, got an injunction. They were allowed to race. There's been tons of back and forth moments on it where they said, we're selling your charters. No, we're not going to sell your charters. This and that. And NASCAR was like, we're going to take you to court and clean you out, sell your charters. And now they're saying they want to settle. But the teams don't want to settle. So we'll see what happens. Bowman getting around Briscoe there. Now Briscoe to the high side. Whew, Bowman's racing Briscoe pretty close. Blaney a half second back from Hamlin. You can check in on Briscoe's radio. He's had it on Byron's. That's good. Our in-race reporter, Double A, getting the inside information. So Byron's holding on a bit better than the last run. Larson's fallen off even a half second back from Byron. Briscoe actually making up some ground here. Move Briscoe into the top 10, back to 8th. Oh my goodness. Did his car get better? Oh my goodness. It looked like his day was over after that restart. He was off the pace. He was really a half second to a full second off the pace. And now he's back up here. Actually closing in. Very impressive run from Briscoe. That blows me away. Sometimes when you kill the underbody, the day's just over. So it must have been just a setup issue after the accident. That's awesome. Hey, I love it. I want this to be a 4-car battle, you know. That's great. He just has to worry about the same issue. It could happen again. This would be like Kurt Busch's championship, yeah. That was wild. I don't think we've ever seen anything quite like that with Kurt Busch. If that happened on the backstretch, he would have, you know, lost the race, or lost the whole championship, I should say. But it happened right near the pit entry. It looks like they made some setup changes and really found the handle on the car. I doubt the blown tire fixed anything or helped anything. Maybe it's deformed the right rear, and maybe they have a little bit more side force now. I don't know. But it's definitely odd to see them run so well after running very poorly on the last restart. Blaney's closing in. I just want to say, as of right now, my graphic looks pretty accurate. As of right now. It's not having no. It's what I typed. I typed that, you know. So I feel like that was a pretty good call on my part, as of right now. Yeah. I wonder if they held on to it. It's somewhere dry rotting in a closet, I'm sure. These two battling might bring Byron back into the conversation. I just don't know if he has the pace right now. Yeah, I saw that earlier, Double A. You know, right after the restart, I saw him running way up to the, you know, almost to the wall. If he can just somewhat hold this track position here, it would be a huge win for Briscoe to set up stage 3. Maybe they can continue to further fix whatever handling issues they have. It's crazy impressive to have the tire failure he did and possibly have a bit of underbody damage, but be running lap times very competitive right now. I don't know. I don't think Byron has the pace right now. Yeah, Hamlin has been falling off on the longer runs, but they've been interrupted so far. And the first long run we had, that first stage, Blaney looked really strong late. So keep an eye on Blaney. Yeah. On that last restart, he jumped out to a 3.5 second lead. This time it didn't get quite so large. But Denny is really good at holding the lead in this next-gen car. When he's out front, it is hard to get around him, because he'll just take your line away at any moment, then you wash up the track. At least he tries his best to. And hardly ever makes an on-track mistake. A Daytona commercial. That's crazy. I'm not ready to be without NASCAR. Maybe. Might have lost some of the rub block. So have these rub blocks under the car to try to keep them from getting stuck. It is so hard to pass. So hard to pass when you're running like very equal lap times. Byron not really closing in at all. Not really falling back either, so the times have equalized for the most part. Larson a full second back from Byron. and Briscoe up to 7th. So not only has he held his position, he advanced, got around Carson Hocevar. And right now, he's less than a second back from Ross Chastain. So, you know, Briscoe might be able to get to 6th position before the end of this stage. Yeah, we're going to have another Alex Bowman situation. We're going to celebrate. Briscoe's going to be the champion. Everyone's going to be happy. And then at 12 a.m. midnight, we're going to get a tweet from Bob Pockris or Jeff Gluck. Briscoe disqualified. Kyle Larson is your champion. People would be so mad. All right, Blaney's trying something different, going to that more of a middle to high line. We are closing in on the end of stage 2. Blaney, oh my goodness. Austin Dillon, right front failure. We stay green. I saw Bass Pro Shops and I thought Briscoe had died again. Just got flashbanged by a Bass Pro Shops tire failure. Not the first time I've seen that today. Man, Blaney can get close, but then once he closes into the bumper, he just falls back to about 3/10 behind. I wouldn't blame him. Matt Crafton was really mad last night about how they ran in his final full-time race, but also just how NASCAR's neutered the engine in the truck series. He said at the 1.5s, they're not worth running because half the time you're wide open. Any monkey could do that. Well, Ty Dillon, again, he has not had a good year in the 10 car. Had a couple good runs, had a magical run through the bracket. Got lucky and made it to the final round. That would be wild, double A. Yep, Ty Dillon just losing it up the track. Right rear flat. Well, another caution. Are we going to end the stage under caution? Yeah, this will probably be the end of stage 2. 2 to go. Yeah, it's over. Denny Hamlin, our stage 2 winner. Yeah, it seems like Crafton's probably just going to run the short tracks. Yeah, Justin, Briscoe did come back up to the field. He restarted, I think, around 13th, right? And just worked his way up on the restart. At one point, passing Logano and Chase Elliott in the same corner. It was pretty wild. And then ended up eventually getting around Carson Hocevar, he fell back through the field, and I thought he was going to catch up to Chastain before the end of the stage, but the stage caution came out and kind of ruined that for us, and especially as Blaney was pressuring Hamlin for the stage win. But now we're not going to get to see that battle. The HMS guys have to do something here. They have been off the pace since stage 1. Larson really hasn't had winning speed all day. All right, back to commercial. Stage 3, it's all that remains. See if we can make it more than 30 laps without a tire failure. If they want to replace an old guy with an almost as old guy, yeah, Frankie would be a good pick. No, not a commercial-free final stage. That was just a special deal for yesterday for the Xfinity Series. There's going to be plenty of commercials. I can guarantee that. Car feels great, but no grip. Yeah, sometimes the driver will be complaining. You'll listen to the radio and they're saying, this thing sucks. It's the worst car that's ever existed. And yet they're running fast lap times. And it's like, hey, buddy, I don't know what to tell you here, but you need to suck it up because you're running great lap times. Yes, I want to see Frank Kimmel come back. That's right. That would be my pick. Let's see what replays we have for this race. A clean stage 1. This was, I believe, our first caution. NASCAR says lap 72, but the app says lap 73. I'm not sure who to trust here. Chase Briscoe narrowly avoiding a season-ending accident there with John Hunter Nemechek's issue. Or no, it was SVG that spun, right? To bring that one out. Allgaier barely surviving there. I mean, that was a hard hit. That car was not happy. That's a hard hit. Not a great way to end the season for Allmendinger. That's Briscoe making the 3-wide pass. Very impressive for a car that previously looked wounded. So Hamlin having a little issue on pit road there. I don't know if it'll be enough to keep him out of first place. We'll see how he runs through the pack here. Imagine next year we come back and there's like Norm bidding to ThorSport full time. That's the best case scenario. Or Mike Harmon. That'd be a good one. BJ McLeod. I hear a fire engine. I don't think it's me. I don't think I'm on fire. Yeah, this could be the end for me. If you guys start to see smoke, let me know. I hope not. I hope not. What happened? Ty Dillon spun. Or is that about outside? I don't know. Someone probably had a heart attack or a crash or maybe a fire, but whatever it is, the fire engine's going after it. While why the racing stopped, Ty Dillon ended up having a tire failure on lap 183, bringing out the caution. And then stage 2 ended with Denny taking the win. No, nothing happened to me yet. Maybe one of my neighbors are on fire, and maybe that'll spread. That's fine. I'll just stay here and take it like a man. A captain goes down with the ship. I'm staying live for the whole thing. So many times when these lottery winners, you know, are showing off at the finale, you can tell they're not NASCAR fans. And they just have no interest in being there. Sometimes they'll interview them and they're like, who do you think is going to win today? And they're like, I don't care. I don't know. It's like these are people that just happen to buy a scratch off or something. And they're like, oh, I win this competition. Great. Finished 12th in a 17-car field. You started 17th in. Not bad. That's super cool, Christian. Good recovery there. Wow. Does he have a magnetic lug holder? That's pretty sick. That's crazy, having a backup jack. Wow. Two of our playoff guys having to overcome adversity on the pit stops there. Setting up a wild stage 3. Right now, William Byron's in the catbird seat, but Denny Hamlin has tons of time to come back through the field. Larson, I'm a bit worried about. But with the way things have been going, we're probably due for like 4 more cautions from tire failures alone. It's been a bit of a mess so far. Maybe with the shade, maybe with some rubber laid down, we won't see as many tire failures, but I've been saying that all race, and we've been having them all race. Last stage of the season, that's right. William Byron, clear to the lead. Chastain and Byron 2 wide behind him. Or no, Chastain and Blaney 2 wide behind him. And then Briscoe in 4th. Chase Elliott trying to make a move. Denny Hamlin way down the track. Then he's about to fight hard here. He may burn his stuff up. You know, we've seen he has short run speed, but what can he do back in this pack? And can he survive? Same for Larson. It's got to be nerve-wracking back here with the riffraff. Sometimes you go back in the pack and you get taken out in someone else's accident. Any lap, there could be a tire failure that takes out one of our playoff drivers, either on their car or by running near someone who has a tire failure. So it's a bit nerve-wracking. So apparently Hamlin had a flat left rear. They've been talking about it a little bit. That is wild. If we had gone a few more laps, and if Ty Dillon hadn't have had his issue, would Denny Hamlin have had a tire failure on track? You know, a lot of what ifs. Crazy stuff. Oh my God. If Briscoe comes back and wins this thing, it's going to be insane. Yeah, so Double A, we were talking about that a little earlier. In the first stage, when Denny caught the lap traffic, Byron caught up to him very quickly. So I'm definitely paying attention to how Denny's car does back here in the pack. Chastain is not letting Byron go. Captain Clean Air may not have it for long. And Briscoe's right there. Half second back, ready to pounce. Chastain definitely wants to get this win. I know he's probably pretty hungry. He's running a 10th better than anyone else on the track. Running very fast right now. Does Chastain have long run speed though? Didn't Chastain win this race last year? I can't even remember. That sounds possible. I'm not gonna doubt it. I always feel bad for whoever wins the race if it's not the champion, because they get almost zero coverage. Everyone's talking about the championship instead of the race win. Yeah, Byron's there for now, but once he loses this position to Chastain, you know, Briscoe might eat him up real fast. We'll see. Is Byron burning his stuff up, trying to stay ahead of this very fast Ross Chastain car? The authorized J hopes Hamlin or Byron wins it. All right, Larson clearing Christopher Bell there, so move Larson right behind Hamlin. They're about a second apart, but in running order, they're right next to each other. So Hamlin and Larson not exactly setting the world on fire, getting back through the field. Chase Elliott's car is looking the best it has all day. Huge for the Chase Elliott fans. You know, he's our most popular driver for various reasons. Do I watch any other motorsports? Indeed. I'll watch anything that's racing related. I don't really enjoy much F1, but I mean, I'll watch monster truck racing, NHRA, even just local drag racing that I see like on YouTube and stuff. Really like IMSA, and IndyCar is pretty good. Yeah, I watch, I don't follow the World of Outlaws or anything, like not to that level. I don't have a subscription to Flow or any of these dirt websites, but I'll watch it whenever it's on YouTube. You know, sometimes they'll go live for the heat races, or at least the hot laps, or some dirt series will actually show the full race on YouTube, so I keep up there. I've watched boat racing, not just boat drag racing, but boat oval racing, which is wild. They set up like some buoys and they just make laps in the water. It's wild. Snowmobile racing, seen that. The snowmobile racing's wild. They're constantly leaning, trying to get the snowmobile to rotate. Crazy. '23. Who won in 24? Oh yeah, Logano. That's right. Gross. British touring car. I've seen a bit of them. I don't keep up with it. There's so many series, and especially the ones overseas. A lot of times you have to wake up at like 4 a.m. to watch the green flag. Every once in a while, I'll catch some of the NASCAR Euro series. They do a good job of streaming those races on YouTube. There was going to be a British Touring Car Championship game made by Motorsports Games, but, that company was kind of a scam, so I don't think that's happening. Pretty disappointing. It's crazy. Briscoe goes from a tire failure to second place. Yeah, I probably could find it. I have access to a lot of British channels, a lot of UK channels, I should say, and I'm sure I could find it on one of their networks if I wanted to tune in live. You're playing college football 09? Not bad. So Chastain definitely, he had great speed, but it looks like he really had a short run car. Hamlin's back up to 6th. He's gotten around Joey Logano. Keep an eye on this gap here. So he's 8/10ths back from Chase Elliott. If you guys have any favorite moments this year, or if you guys remember any big or weird crashes that happened this year, go ahead and get that in mind. And we might replay some of those during our post-race. I have my own list made, but it's really long. And I haven't really sorted through it yet. I should have put it together last night, but I waited till this morning. Yeah, it would definitely be wild for Briscoe. I wouldn't be mad if Briscoe won. I like him as a person. Parker winning at Daytona, yeah, that was wild. And then not getting the trophy, right? Barry winning at Vegas. One that I'll definitely remember is Zane Smith getting sideways. Going to Mexico, that was pretty wild. Oh my goodness. Do we have a caution on the speedway? This has got to be a caution, right? Oh my goodness. Playoff implications. Kyle Larson, right front failure. Larson's off the track. He's going to go multiple laps down. Larson's day is as good as done unless he gets a rash of cautions. So now it's William Byron versus 2 Toyotas. Yeah, Denny wrecking Bubba. Yeah. No caution. That was crazy. You had cars going to his left and to his right. We stay caution free. Oh my goodness. Chase Briscoe tire failure. Again. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. 2 playoff guys out in just a couple laps. Oh my goodness. Oh, it's a 2-car race now. Byron and Hamlin. That's it. That's your battle for the championship. What just happened? Goodyear might take a lot of flack for this, with all these tire failures, but it's not Goodyear's fault. It's NASCAR's fault. NASCAR is requiring Goodyear to bring a tire with a ton of fall off because the car sucks. But enough of that. That is crazy. So the only hope right here is that Larson and Briscoe make up enough track position on the new tires and maybe somehow unlap themselves. Oh my goodness. Cars 2 with the engine failures. Oh my, well, that one is going to bring out a caution. Carson Hocevar, tire failure. Another caution. Yeah, now we get a caution. That's right. That's right. So I'm guessing Larson and Briscoe are going to stay out here and try to wave around. So that will move them back to the lead lap, but they're going to be on slightly older tires and, have a little less fuel. And they're going to be at the tail end of the pack. Crazy. That turn of events. Oh my, and Hamlin slowly moving his way back up. Hamlin back to 4th. He's not out of it. Byron, man, it looked like he was actually going to do it. He was running so well. And now with these restarts, Byron's capped in clean air. Once he loses that clean air, he loses 50% skill points. Yeah, this is crazy. It's that lemon gun, they give them the special oil or whatever, kill their engines. Cars 2 is a masterpiece. Now keep in mind, if Ty Dillon hadn't have spun in the last stage, Denny Hamlin might be out of this race. He was having a left rear go down. So if we had gone green for the last few laps, it might have been Denny with the same fate as Larson and Briscoe. Crazy. "24 vibration. Are you serious?" All in all, that's it. That was the name. Skitch Nose Ball. Golly. I'm sure they're going to look at these tires and see what's going on here. Tear off for Hamlin. Byron's out. Blaney will beat him off. No comment. I was Hocevar as a caution. I think he got up into the wall, like really off the pace. We'll see. We're not going to get a replay of it, apparently. What was that? That was a wild handful of laps there. Wow. Yeah, if all the playoff drivers blow tires, or if, you know, a tire ends up taking a guy out permanently, oh my goodness. I don't think the playoffs are coming back in this format. People are going to be very angry about this. And a lot of the blame is going to fall on Goodyear, but it's not their fault. They're doing what they need to do. So with all that smoke, I wasn't sure if it was an engine at first. That was insane. The amount of smoke coming out of Larson's car. Christian, you were right about the tires. It's pretty interesting. So with these tires, even though they fall off so much, the track doesn't take the rubber like it used to, like it should. You would see the track actually visibly get darker. Instead, the rubber just washes up the track and creates like a cushion, you know, a bunch of marbles that you don't want to get into. And so throughout the race, instead of the track taking on rubber and the tire fall off decreasing, it stays. They just stay eating up tires the whole race. You know, you saw it at Bristol really noticeably. The upper groove around the wall was just covered in rubber. Just huge chunks. Crazy. So Chase Briscoe's, he's going to get our free pass. So Chase Briscoe, once again, getting some good luck there. Good turn of events. Kyle Larson, I believe, probably taking the wave around. So they're definitely behind the 8 ball, but with some luck, they might work their way back in. Yeah, it's rough. That's rough. Look at this tweet from NASCAR. Things change quickly. That's an understatement. Larson and Briscoe both having issues just a couple laps apart. That is insanity. Larson 214, Briscoe 217, and on lap 220, Carson Hocevar. What a wild turn of events there. They were saying Hamlin's tires look okay. The tweet was scheduled. The conspiracy theorists are out in full force tonight. All right, Byron diving it down low, trying to get past his teammate here for the lead. How much is Chase willing to fight his teammate here? Byron trying to slide up the track, not able to make it. Chase Elliott running Blaney up the track. Blaney slots into third. Chase Elliott to the lead. Byron in second. Hamlin right now boxed in. He's going to try to follow Blaney through. All right, now Hamlin to the low side. Now he's boxed in behind Barry. Looks like he may be able to... Looks like he might have been able to make that work. Couldn't stick. Hamlin not able to get by Blaney yet. Whoa, Hamlin loose. Almost took out Blaney. So move Hamlin back into 5th. That car almost stepped out. He almost took out Blaney. Big time. All right, Hamlin falling back a couple car lengths from the back of Blaney. Blaney looking to the inside, trying to make a pass on Josh Berry. All right, Hamlin and Blaney both able to get around Josh Berry. Little contact between Chastain and Christopher Bell there. Byron about a half second back from Elliott. So this is, you know, if we were to run green, I don't think we will run green, but if we were, this would be the longest run of the day by far. We're probably going to see a few more tire failures with the way things have been going. Insanity. My notes look like chicken scratch. All right, who's our best long run car? Byron was reporting a vibration before that caution came out. Surprised Penske hasn't killed half the field for the lead. There's still time. There's still time. Blaney's the only one with a ton of speed, though. Berry shows speed on the start of the run and then falls back. His pit crew's been doing a great job. Cindric started out strong, been falling back, but Logano's just kind of holding station around 6th to 12th, kind of in that range. So not yet, at least, race-winning speed for Logano. But Blaney pressuring Byron here. All over Byron. Now, we saw this earlier in the race, and I thought Blaney was going to get by him, and he didn't end up making the pass. I think Blaney's going to take care of this eventually. Ryan Preece flip is an obvious pick. Elliott's out to almost a full second lead. Yes, Ryan Preece and Newman. Very similar. All right, back under commercial. We're side by side. Hamlin's keeping him close, so his car is not falling off. Briscoe back up to 20th. Larson 24th. So he's running a 28.6 back there. Definitely off the pace of our leaders. Larson 28.9. So yeah, quite far off the pace. Name every Ryan. I think all of them. If your name's Ryan, you're destined to be airborne. Byron will run one decent lap, and then he falls off the next lap. Runs very close to the leader again the next lap. Falls off again. It's dropped off below or above 1 second now. 1.1. And Hamlin closing the distance on Blaney. It's getting close. Yeah, the fact he's been able to stay so close to Blaney and Byron, I think that means his car is pretty decent at the moment. Now, if Byron had gotten clean air, he might have ran off with it. But now he's back there in second. Running really close with Blaney. I mean, Blaney's all over the back of him. Hasn't really been able to make up any time there. And looks like he's stacking up the field a bit. So Byron's kind of fallen off here. Blaney just lost a ton of ground. Hamlin's going to be able to easily clear here. Here comes Denny. Yeah, if there's, you know, something notable, I definitely prioritize Cup, but yeah, we can definitely look at different stuff. All right, we have some pit stops here. Oh no, definitely not scheduled. Alex Bowman, right front failure. Another Hendrick guy. We've had Larson with an issue, and now we have Bowman. Not a 6-7 commercial. Hey, dog. Hey, buddy. Zillage falling. Oh, well, since he lived and didn't suffer any permanent damage, then we might look at that. Oh yeah, that was rough. Even after the damage, Caven was still running pretty well. What could have been? That would have been crazy if Kane had won that. Eat the puppy dog. All right, Byron has closed in on Elliott, but Hamlin is there. He's been about a half second back, so he hasn't closed in too much. But the fact he's able to stay with Byron, keep that gap kind of similar, I think his car is pretty good right now. Now, whose car will fall off more? I think Byron might burn up his tires a bit here. Running around behind. Oh my goodness. The 4 is off the pace. Noah's not going to be able to make it. Oh my goodness. We stay green for now. So who will be our first playoff driver here to blow a tire? Byron reporting a vibration on that last run. Nervous about him. especially running around right behind our leader. They use up the tires so heavily trying to make the pass. You know, Blaney hounded Byron for several laps, wasn't able to make the pass, and he fell off pretty hard. So much smoke from Gregson. Man, Byron is all over the back of Chase. You know, it's not Chase's job to lay over, but it is your teammate, and Byron's obviously faster right now. At what point do you use the bumper if you're Byron? You can't sit around here and burn your tires. It could be a race-ending decision to ride around behind him. Let's take a look at our other playoff guys. Briscoe back in 15th. Running about a 10th off the pace of our leaders. And Larson's running about 3/10 off the pace. But he's up to 22nd. With the right set of circumstances, those two could find themselves back in the discussion. Briscoe looks strong, but 2 tire failures. 2. Hamlin seems like he's overdriving. Well, he hasn't had the long run speed, but they might have been adjusting throughout the race to try to keep from a tire failure happening. And so that may have thrown Denny's balance more towards long run, perhaps. Or maybe we're just going to see him fall off. It seems like, you know, he fell off pretty hard in stage 1. Didn't lose a ton of ground, but he did fall off. And in stage 2, he started to fall off. Blaney was there for several laps, but he got saved by a caution. Potentially had his race saved by the caution. Stage 3, we haven't really had too long of a run yet. This is our longest run right here, I believe. Vegas win. Almirola Dega almost flip. Swelter's huge crash. Ryan Seed crash. Jeb Burton and Sam Mayer. Last 2 truck big ones. We'll see if we can find all of those. If we do a full season in review stream or video, we'll definitely have to look up moments from all 3 series or just cover the whole year. Or I could do different streams for the different series if we don't want to go for like 2 hours. But I would like to get all the links already available. That way I don't have to search. I can just click, pull it up, show the clip. So yeah, if you guys want to share links to your favorite moments, your favorite videos, you could share them in the Discord. And I could just pull them directly from there. Not a terrible idea. So Byron with a second advantage right now. We are going to have at least one more round of pit stops here. This could come down to the very last one. Yeah, spread out the content. Not a bad idea. That might get us through the month of November. Then we just gotta wait out December and January. At least with January, we have the Rolex coming up. And with all these holidays, with how people start focusing on the holidays. Oh my goodness, caution. Oh, car on the wall hard. Austin Spindrick. Could this be our last caution of the race? Probably not. But this will stack everybody back up and perhaps, you know, bring Denny back into the conversation. Golly. Can we not just run green, please? I understand Goodyear needs a tire with fall off, but good night. This is a bit much. This whole thing could be decided on pit road. Briscoe's in 13th right now. Kyle Larson is in 21st. What calls are they going to make? Right now, maybe Larson takes 2 and hopes for another caution in 20 laps. Did you see Brad Keselowski wants to own the Ford program if they bring it to IMSA? That's interesting. That's interesting. Their Mustang's been running really well. I think that was brand new for this year, right? Or was it last year? I don't know. It's a new car. Put that out there. And you can purchase one. It's ridiculously expensive. It has a ginormous wing on the back. But it is ready for track day. The hypercar is what he wants to be a part of. Yeah, I thought so. I thought that's what you meant. I like to see it. Ford CEO is a big fan of racing. He does a little racing himself. So I would not be surprised to see Ford embrace IMSA. After they get these pit stops, we're going to take one last pit stop ourselves and potentially run to the end. Oh my goodness, I'm going to jump off a bridge. It is so dark outside. It is so dark. I hate this time. I love daylight. And only daylight. You're gonna be getting off work in the dark now? Yeah. Yep. I love walking outside, heading to my car at the end of the day, and it's dark outside and it's cold. I love it. Fantastic. You love to see more NASCAR guys do the Rolex 24. You believe Zilch will with Trackhouse again? Yeah. I wish they would too. It used to be really fun watching the Rolex 24 when there were like, you know, 6, 7 different NASCAR. I did not mean to do that. Different NASCAR guys in the event. It was fun watching them, how competitive they would run in whatever different divisions. All right, Byron getting off pit road. Scored first right now. Elliott back to second. Hamlin down 1 position. Neither Briscoe or Larson moving their way up through the field. We have Blaney, Berry, Bell, Logano, Keselowski, and Chastain also in the top 10. You believe Zilic could help Trackhouse build up to at least an LMP2 car? That would be fun. All right, I'll be right back, guys. Got him some water. We are back. As a reminder to our new viewers, after the race, we will be going live with our post-race show. I'm sorry to spoil the ending for you guys. But, yeah, but you guys will have the option to call in if you want to share your thoughts on the race, the champion, and the season. It's the dog. He wanted some water, so we got him some water. Yeah, I'm thinking the Blaney call. It was good for a while, but he hasn't looked race winning the last couple stages. He had a long run car in that first stage, but since then, I mean, I guess he still did somewhat in stage 2, but this stage, after a few laps of running behind Byron, he falls off. Did HMS slide Penske some money? Wow, Chase Elliott penalized? How about that? All right, here we go. Byron on the inside, Hamlin on the outside. We've seen Hamlin grab this lead before on the restart. He's been good on the restarts all day. This could be for the win. Hamlin out to a little advantage. Byron coming back on the inside. Larson with the advantage. The momentum. They touch a bit. That high side is just so good, being able to keep up the speed. That's a bit odd to take the inside. I mean, that may be what the analytics say, but I like that outside. Hamlin up the track a bit. All right. Denny pinched him there a bit. Hamlin to the lead. Clear. That could be our race right there. Interesting math there. Did Byron burn his stuff up a bit there, trying to battle on the inside? Did not like that call to go to the inside there. Denny's been great at the restarts all day. Just absolutely killing it. Byron, he's had a couple decent ones, but not great. Briscoe back up to 6th. Larson 14th right now. Maybe down to... he's still running 6th. Maybe. I don't know if they have that much money to fight NASCAR year after year. Jordan does. If Jordan's bankrolling it, then maybe they can. Byron is not staying with Blaney. I mean, he's not staying with Hamlin. Blaney's all over the back of Byron. We've seen this the last couple stages. Blaney just runs all over Byron. Let's see if Byron can hold on for enough laps. Shaq needs to make a NASCAR team. Shaq could possibly afford it. Tons of brand deals, tons of business opportunities he's had. He's invested very well. But NASCAR being a money-losing strategy, I don't see Shaq doing it. Would be cool. Whoa, Briscoe almost up into the wall. He's going to lose some time here. Way up the track. Whoo! Way up the track. Byron's falling off a bit. Just watch those lap times. And then he's got this clean air. Will they make it? Will they go the distance, or will we see another caution? That lap, Byron ran faster by 0.2. Caution. Again. JJ Yaley. Looks like perhaps a broken toe link on the right front. Right when the balance of the cars was starting to shift towards Byron, the caution comes out. Hamlin has been saved all day. You know, if Ty Dillon hadn't have spun, Hamlin's tire might have gone down at full speed. Day over. Potentially. And Blaney, you know, was probably going to pass him for that stage win. And, you know, Hamlin hasn't had a long run car. He's very fast on the restarts, and his car holds on for a while. But these cautions that keep coming out, they only benefit Hamlin. He is so good on these restarts and on the shorter runs. So he's the guy to beat right now. So Briscoe putting on the scuff tires. You would think the slower cars could conserve tires, but usually, especially with how spec these cars are, the slower teams, they're running slow because the cars do not handle at all. And having to fight a car that can't handle, then you're just burning your tires off constantly. Larson with a 4.5, Briscoe with a 4.7. Taking 4 tires. Let's go Briscoe and Larson off first. Hamlin out third. Byron back to 4th. Whoo! That's crazy. It's hopefully the dying gasps of the playoff era. It's pretty disgusting for the championship to come down to whoever's tire lasted the longest. This is not great, but it is entertaining. I am sports entertained. You never know, lap after lap, if your driver's actually going to survive or if his tire's just going to explode. Let's take a look at our Twitter and see what's new. Look at that damage on Austin Cindric. Pretty hard hit there. Probably not as hard as Ryan Sieg yesterday. Completely flat in the rear end of that car. Not posting too much. NASCAR social media slacking right now. How long till Larson or Briscoe's left sides blow apart? They're just going to be fighting, trying to hold position. This was really a track position play. They're hoping for another caution, I'm sure, in the next, 10 to 15 laps. That's best case scenario for them. Just enough to use up the new tires on the other guys' cars. And just short enough so they don't lose too much. I think that was completely normal with the 4-tire call. Like that was expected. The only reason Larson and Briscoe took 2 is because they needed the track position. Byron also took 4. So it's nothing crazy with the 4-tire call. So Byron's going to try to shoot low here. How much will his teammate hold him up and fight? Byron may have a shot to go to the high side here, but his exit could be blocked. So this could get interesting. Byron could also try to shoot the middle. That's all right, Hamlin fan. It is completely understandable. Completely. Hey, this is it. This is for all the marbles. Last race of the year, last stage. The laps are winding down. It's very exciting. Larson, not a good restart. This is going to hurt Byron quite a bit. Let's see if Byron can get a good run off. He does. Good entry. Let's see if he can get the good exit. Hamlin running really low. Hamlin to the lead. Let's see if he can get it here. I think he will. They're 3 wide for the lead. Hamlin on the inside on the fresher tires. Briscoe. Oh my. Did Hamlin just put. And oh my goodness. Byron now by. Byron to the lead now. Hamlin's going to try to cross him over. Did Hamlin get into Briscoe? Hamlin just drove by like a dog. Absolutely dominated Byron there. Not even close. Hamlin is so fast on the restarts. No competition. And here's Logano to spoil the day. Out of nowhere, here comes Joey Logano. I don't think there's enough time left in the race for Hamlin to fall off. If this was to run green, this is playing right into Hamlin's hands. Everything is played out for him perfectly today. Little issue in a pit stop, but didn't lose that much time and just right back in it. Larson and Briscoe. I mean, they're holding on to track position, so that's what they need to do. They need a caution quick. If they can get a caution within the next 10 laps, they might still be able to make a run at it. So all four are still in it. Oh, Hamlin did push Briscoe up the track. That's dirty. Golly. I mean, it's a clean racing move, but I just hate to see it. Pushing his teammate up the track once again. Where have we seen that before? Only Denny. Red Bull? Does he? That would be very interesting. We're talking about wings. Might have been a wings joke. Yeah. I didn't see you ask about drinking the Red Bull. I just thought you... Many might have one. I see it now, though. I caught on. The stream's delayed a bit. Hamlin talking about it. No, there's no tire rub. If it goes green, I mean, this is Hamlin's race. I don't know if it's as much as no team orders as as just there's no team work between them. I don't know why. I understand he is older, but I'm not sure why Hamlin would retire other than, you know, he got his championship. I'm done. I'm out. But he's still running great. And there's a chance he could pick up 5 more wins next year. So I don't know why he would stop outside of if he, for whatever reason, wanted the storybook ending. Yeah, I agree. I'm not a huge fan of the late day ending to our season. Retire and then unretire. The lap times have equalized. Denny could just be saving. But if you look at our interval here, it's kind of stabilized. And that last lap, Byron was 2 thousandths quicker. You know, not a huge gain. And, you know, with how up and down Byron's lap times are, that's not enough to start eating away. If they had 10 more laps, if it was 23 to go, I would say he has a shot at it. But right now, no. Down to 12 laps. Then he's stretching the lead again. Denny's pretty smooth with it on track. Unless he's around a teammate. And then, you know, he definitely makes mistakes. Nah, I think he's fine. I think, barring another caution, which this isn't one of our longer runs of the day, I think we might make it. I mean, we definitely could get a caution, but it's looking more and more like we're going to go the distance here. Finally. Under 10 to go. Blaney's pressuring Byron again. Kyle Busch running 9th right now. Not bad. Yeah, Blaney runs well at the plate tracks. I could definitely see a 500 win. It's gonna be really awkward at the championship celebration. Steve Phelps or whoever coming out to hand out the trophy, especially in the middle of the lawsuit. I'm sure there'll be fake smiles on their faces. It could be like when they handed the trophy to Martin Truex, you know, just handed it to him and walked off. That was, and still is, super awkward. I believe in our full season points, Byron right now would be the champion. And in our Winston Cup format, Bell would be our champion. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. William Byron bringing out the caution. Oh my goodness. I don't really think Denny has much to worry about. I don't think he has much to worry about here. Hey, thank JJ Yaley. JJ hand delivered this championship to Hamlin. Byron did not have the speed on that run. Hamlin has to survive one more restart, but he's been the best on restarts all day. By far the fastest car, and definitely the fastest right now. So he just has to survive one more restart, and Denny will be our 2025 NASCAR Cup Series champion. Super impressive run by Denny. It looks like, you know, he struggled on the long run, and maybe they came or went up on the tire pressure a little bit to respond to the wear, and, you know, not as crazy fast on the short run, but still very fast. And the car's lasting a bit longer now. So great job for Hamlin, his crew. They tried to let him down with that slow pit stop earlier, but they mitigated the damage, and right now they're in position. Now, Larson and Briscoe, do they have fresh tires? Do they have anything left? What do they do? This is absolutely insane. Like, Denny has, for the most part, dominated this race, and it could come down to a late race pit stop or a restart. This is too much. Full season points, please. They're all coming down. They're all pitting. Did Briscoe just speed? Briscoe peeked out there a little bit. Byron finally had his tire failure. So Larson's had a couple. Briscoe had a couple. Denny had one under caution. And now we have it here. Just as a reminder, guys, for everyone that's here, after the race, we will be going live with our post-race show. I just want to say, I called my shot. Yeah, I think we have people that are still out there, but I'm not sure that, Oh my goodness. 3 drivers stayed out: Blaney, Larson, Logano, Barry, Busch, Elliott. This is going to have to be a Corey Heim moment. Oh my, this makes me sick. This is disgusting. Corey Heim was able to get his, who was also in the 11. Will we see the 11 make something happen here, or will we get another overtime restart? Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. You have 2 Chevys up here. You have 2 Fords. Well, 3 Fords. You know, they're not going to be taking it easy. But all Hamlin has to do, he doesn't have to win the race. All Hamlin has to do is get by Larson. So it's a one-on-one. There are other cars in the way. Logano spun Hocevar or McDowell into their pit box. That's wild. Let's see who's way back here. That might tell us. McDowell's 11th. Hocevar's 22nd. Might have been him. Justin Haley's back in 25th. Oh my goodness. This is insanity. Dude, if Brad Keselowski won the race, I would actually be pretty excited. I would love to see Keselowski get the win. It may not be a championship, but I guarantee they'll celebrate it like one if Kez can pull this off. All right, they're showing off the truck 7 wide moment earlier. That's the number 11 getting it done. We'll see if we can do it again. Then he just has to get by the 5. That's all he has to do. And it sounds simple, but there's a lot involved. But I'm just saying he doesn't have to go out and win. 1 car to beat. Golly. Wow. This champion coming down to all these tire failures. Oh my goodness. Denny has the best tires. It's just like the Heim situation. He took 4, everyone else took 2. And, you know, a lot of people, including myself, dumped on the call, but it worked. And especially if we get another overtime restart, Hamlin might be in the catbird seat still. All right. It's like Kez is going to take the high side. Priest to the inside. Bowman outside. Blaney inside. Larson also going to the high side. Blaney's got to go to the bottom here, right? Hamlin restarting on row 5 inside. He's going to have the freshest tires. He can probably roll the bottom like Heim did and make up 4 positions right here. He's been fast all day. He has struggled a bit back in the pack, but he has the freshest tires back there. So keep your eye on Hamlin. He's going to throw a Hail Mary here. Larson is only 5 positions ahead. In 1 corner, Hamlin might be able to make up all those spots and get right on Larson's tail. If it comes down to the last lap, Hamlin behind Larson, is he willing to make the contact? I wouldn't blame him. It's for a championship. The last year they're going to do it like this possibly, so go for it. Philip, good to see you, man. I like your name quite a bit. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here. Woo! So are we going to get an overtime restart? Here we go. So we have 3 guys in old tires. Denny Hamlin in 10th place on new tires. Everyone else in front of him on 2. Here comes Denny. Denny's got it. Denny's got it. It's over. Denny's got it. Oh my goodness. Denny just got stuck in traffic. Denny just got crushed in traffic. I thought he had it. He's going to make one more run at it here. He could get wrecked. Larson's running this a bit close. White flag, 1 lap to go. Sponsored by Credit One Bank. 3 cars in between Hamlin and Larson. Hamlin up the track. Keselowski, come on, hold on, Kez. Come on, Keselowski. No! No! Dude, oh my goodness. I almost called the race winner and the champion. Larson wins our championship. I'm not bummed about it, but, you know, it would have been cool to see Hamlin get the championship for his dad. The strategy call just wasn't right there. He wasn't able to make the Corey Haim strategy work. And I'm not too bummed that Hamlin didn't win it either, because according to our full season points, he didn't deserve to be the champion. But I think Larson wins our full season points battle. If someone knows the answer to that, I'm pretty sure that's right. With Byron finishing way back. Where is he? Where was our 24 car? In 33rd. I'm pretty sure Larson just won the championship. Best man won. He definitely wasn't the best today, Chris. He was just the guy that made it work when it mattered. Then he was definitely the best car today. But Kyle Larson will be our champion, and Kyle Larson is the full season points champion. We'll check the full season points here on the post-race show, but I believe Kyle Larson probably beat Byron by 20 points about. So if you go by full season points, Larson would be the champion. If you go by the Winston Cup format, Christopher Bell would be our champion right now. So, you know, even though today was definitely Denny's day, if you go by full season points, the honest way of deciding a champion, he would not have even have been in the conversation. Congrats to Kyle Larson. That's a real bummer for Hamlin. It looked like he was going to make it happen. He was to the inside, on the inside lane, just lost the momentum, got packed in. Yeah, Christian, it's a stupid playoff format, but it's not. You're wrong about it being a BS champion. If we ran full season points, Kyle Larson would be our champion right now, with how the points are decided these days. So I mean, he's definitely deserving in his own right. He just wasn't the best car today, but he was there when it mattered. Yeah. That's how it goes. That's how it goes. All because Byron blew a tire. Yeah, I wouldn't have been disappointed. Double A, you're right. I wouldn't have been disappointed with any of the Final Four. Denny was the win leader. Christopher Bell, if he had made it in the Final Four, is our Winston Cup points leader. Briscoe is runner-up in the Winston Cup. So I think that's pretty deserving. That's how it goes, guys. Thank you guys for joining me for today's race. We're gonna go live. You don't have to do anything. You don't have to change the channel. We will be live with our post-race show right after this stream, so don't have to go anywhere. Give you guys a preview of our post-race. I need to change the bar at the bottom. Hamlin did not get our championship. Yeah, but we're going to end this stream, guys. You don't have to go anywhere. It should automatically send you over to our post-race where you will be able to call in and share your thoughts on today's race, the championship format, the points format, the whole season, and looking forward to next season. So hope to see you guys in our post-race coverage.